Yo, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children over the age of 18. Welcome to episode 34 of the SmackTalk Wrestling Podcast, the War Games prediction show. I'm here with my amazing co-hosts once again, Angel, the king of the Twitch gaming world, AOK Gaming, and then, of course, Gonzo, raising personalities, the Yugi king of the wrestling trolls as well. Gonzo, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man?
I can't see those. Hold on.
Speak at once.
I know I was gonna say hello. I'm trying to see what cards those are. Is that Ric Flair?
No.
Is that Steamboat?
That is.
You need to take those down right now because Tops and PSA.
This is a Ric Flair on-card auto.
Oh, that's right.
It's an on-card auto, and then custom. That is not like a pulled pack auto. That is like someone went there and signed it. And then of course we got the PSA Gem Mint 10 out of 10. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat Gold Auto.
Number 10 out of 10.
Number 10 out of 10. Last on print. First sale. Hit your boy up and let me know. But yeah, we are not here to talk about cards. We could talk about cards on a different day. We are here to talk about War Games. But before we go to War Games, let's talk about this week leading up to the War Games PLE, which is this coming weekend. Angel, take us through Monday Night Raw.
Sure. All right. So first we had LWO, which was Mysterio and Selena defeating the American-made Gable and Nia. Then we had the Intercontinental Championship match between Braun Breaker and Sheamus. It was a no contest due to Ludwig Kaiser interference. And War Raiders defeated Judgment Day, Dom and Carlito, just them two. Bronson Reed defeated Seth Rollins. That's 1-1. And that was the end of Raw.
For the match card, right? And then so the NXT match card, we had a men's Iron Survivor qualifier match this week. Nathan Frazier defeated Angel's boy, Eddie Thorpe. Angel's definitely brokenhearted about that one. We got the women's Iron Survivor qualifier matches. We had two of them. So we had Stephanie Valkyrie defeating Jada Parker in a shocker due to the distraction from Lola Vice. Zarya just obliterated Ren Sinclair. They both qualify for the Iron Survivor match. Tony D'Angelo defeats Brooks Jensen and was later attacked by Jensen post-match, leading up to another title match next week. Carmen Petrovic and Ashante the Adonis defeat Brinley Reese and Deion Lennox in a match I could care less about. We had Women's North American Championship Open Challenge match. Fallon Henley defeats Tatum Paxley to retain. And then we had the NXT Championship #1 contenders match, which had an extra stipulation for Ethan Chase. So Ridge Holland defeated Ethan Chase, who is now the #1 contender, and now Chase U has to disband. So there's no more Chase U. And lastly, Gonzo, take us through the SmackDown match card, if you would.
Women's War Game is my bad. I'm jumping the gun. Sorry. I can't read. Fun fact for everybody now. So Women's United States Championship. And so that's what I wanted to jump into. There was a tournament match, which we have Chelsea Green defeating Bianca Belair and Blair Davenport. As far as the Men's United States Championship match, we have LA Knight defeating Santos Escobar. We also have Bayley and Naomi defeating Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton by disqualification. And then Montez Ford defeats Tommaso Ciampa.
Exactly. Yeah, that was just so good, too. That match legitimately was, like, so good. Only match I really pay attention to. So real quick before we go and talk about everything. So we did have notable moments too. So we have the Women's War Games that was set on Monday. So Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Stratton, Candice LeRae versus Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Rhea Ripley. But now Jade Cargill is out indefinitely, and Bayley is the replacement, which we saw on SmackDown. And then Final Testament and The Miz deliver a big, like, crazy promo, pre-recorded promo on the Why It Sucks, 6. And then we had the Wise Man returns, and CM Punk is now the 5th member. So that's everything that happened this past week. Obviously, we're going to talk Bloodline. But you guys, do you have anything you guys want to bring to light before we do talk Bloodline?
Go ahead, Gonzo. Take the stage, buddy.
Defend your Why It Sucks.
I mean, are you trying to trigger? I don't know why you say such terrible things. They are there to entertain me, and entertaining, that is what they do. So as far as the Wyatts go, yes, that is my cinema. I love it. It makes no sense, obviously, because it's all oohs and ahs and scare tactics, which is fine. It's great because as far as being entertained, they're doing exactly that. I was actually shocked by Jade Cargill legitimately being hurt with a variety of different injuries. And so that actually took me a little bit back. I will say that I'm quite annoyed that Io Sky is a part of this War Games. And so I don't know, they're supposed to be the good guys, right? Going against the terrible, Queen Naya and her crew. I mean, Io Sky and Damage Control are technically they're a heel faction.
Not anymore. The past few weeks, if you're really paying attention, they turned.
Yeah,
the heel faction is now the Yu-Gi-Oh team, whatever they're called,
the
Fusion
Yu-Gi-Oh
Collective
team.
Yeah, so that's now.
If you listen to what's her name's promo, the head of Damage Control, the mouthpiece of them. What's her name?
Dakota Kai.
Yeah, her promo was very positive. It was not talking crap about anybody or anything. It's just her comeback. So yeah, they're definitely changing their vibes for them.
So they turned. They turned Gonzo real quick, and Io Sky is in that match purely because she's the one who's going to make the big matches. Like last year, Angel and I went there for CM Punk's return.
She made all the spots, yeah.
But she did all the spots in that match, and Charlotte Flair did too. But she did that trash can spot, if you guys remember from last year. So she's the one. The genius of the sky is what they call her, but that's why she's in that match. Gonzo, go on.
And it's just weird for me. I like her better so far, what she's been doing as far as dirty tactics and terrible things. So I've been following. I know that she's been having her face turned, but I don't know. I'd like to know who put Cargill through the windshield of that car and then left her there for dead. As far as storytelling goes, we don't know. I know that's something that is being thrown out there for people to speculate, and so it's
Charlotte Flair.
It's Liv Morgan. She's the bad guy every single time something happens.
Charlotte Flair.
Speaking of Charlotte Flair, I know if you all follow her social media, she had released a post of something that's related potentially to her possible comeback. Anything that's not bloodline related, trying to think. Kofi Kingston will probably be the one to turn heel and not Xavier Woods. There, you heard it here first. I'll throw that out there for people to just absorb. You're starting to see a lot of anger and frustration now come from Kofi himself. So, like I said, you heard that from me first, so that'll be rather interesting. And then Tommaso Ciampa versus the World, right? Apparently he is just so upset and frustrated and just wants to win that he's willing to do it at all costs now. And I honestly didn't see him losing on SmackDown, to be truthful with you. And so that match was really, really, really good. So those are all the things that I just wanted to focus on that's not bloodline related.
Angel, anything you want to bring to light, talk about, have an open discussion?
Chase U being disbanded was pretty interesting. I did not see that coming. I wonder if it really will be, if they're really gonna stick to that that bet or stipulation, whatever you want to call it. And Rich Holland's getting pushed pretty hard right now, so that was pretty interesting to me.
It's really crazy to me that they are disbanding Chase U.
Yeah.
Especially them usually going to smaller markets with NXT and college markets, and when they do travel, I mean, obviously with the exception of them, coming to St. Louis and Chicago, usually when they do travel, it's usually smaller venues, usually college venues, and the Chase U really plays into that. So that's very interesting to me. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I was really, really, really surprised about that one. Eddie Thorpe, I don't give a shit about that dude. So yeah, just gotta clarify that. Stephanie Vaquer winning was kind of wild too, but I did enjoy that. I think she should go all the way in that women's Survivor.
They gotta have a Julia and Stephanie spot in that match.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna happen
in that series. Yeah,
sure, that's why.
Sure. What else was going on? Did you guys think Bronson was gonna win against Seth? Was that pretty much
because
foregone thing? Okay,
100% he was gonna win because now the series is 1-1. There's no way that was their blow off match. So either Seth Rollins might do something. I'm not saying he's going to be in the match, obviously, because we know CM Punk's in the match, but either
that's
Seth
what I'm
Rollins,
saying. That's why I wanted to bring that up because I thought that was going to put him in
So
the
did
War
I.
Games match.
I really
and
didn't
then when
expect to
Punk
see
comes
Punk.
out, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that in a minute, but
Yeah.
this now changes this whole Reed versus Seth thing. Like, what's his play? Like, why is Seth always like this? His third wheel in these stories. Like we had WrestleMania, he's the third wheel. Now this, he's kind of feeling like a third wheel. It's like he's always the outside guy.
He is a Omega level for you nerds out there. He is an Omega level Miz.
Company man.
He's the company man.
Yeah.
He's an Omega level Miz.
He is.
So he goes out there, he gets the big matches, he'll job out the big matches. He's the one that does, 4.5, 5-star
He does
matches.
the dirty work, man.
Correct. Like the Cody Rhodes job out for 3 straight matches when he returned. Like it's just what he does.
Right.
Basically, if you're a guy who wants to make a name for yourself, you want to either be in a program with the Miz or be a program with Seth Rollins because you're gonna get over.
Right.
Like that's just
I agree.
Is.
Yeah. That's all I really had. The rest of it was, pretty self-explanatory. I thought. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the Bloodline.
Yeah, we will talk about the Bloodline, and we will make our Survivor Series picks in a second. But yeah, so just a couple things. I'm sorry.
No, I said, what about you? What do you?
Yeah. So, you guys can hear me, right? Am I good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So a couple things. Ludwig Kaiser, the way that Gunther is calling for him to be better, and now him interfering in that Intercontinental Championship match, pushing him into a single scene, because at this point now that it doesn't seem like they're going to add anybody to Imperium, keeping them together is kind of pointless in my opinion, but they're keeping them together. Putting Ludwig Kaiser now in the mold of the Intercontinental scene really makes me happy because Ludwig can go. So I thought that was really nice. Dom is definitely going to be betrayed by Judgment Day, 100%.
Yeah, I see it coming.
That everything, like you saw how Finn Balor was just absolutely salivating when Liv came backstage. It was like, okay, you're gonna have to take the reins like of a leadership role this week, and Finn was like, yeah, fuck yeah, finally. And he immediately puts Dom and Carlito to work, knowing that they're gonna get their ass whooped by War Raiders, and he then has that little side talk off camera that was never shown with JD McDonough. Something's going on there.
No, they worked that perfectly because Liv does have so much she has to take care of. Tag team titles, her defending her own title. She's on both shows every week. Like she cannot handle her own duties as the Judgment Day leader. So it makes sense.
The thing is, Judgment Day was about equality. Judgment Day was no leaders. But yet Finn keeps pushing that issue, and he keeps throwing Dom to the wolves because he doesn't give a shit about Dom either. And Dom is going to be betrayed very, very soon. And Liv,
I just need the demon back. I don't care. I need Finn to be a lead guy again, man. So tired of him just being nonsense.
I don't know, man. I don't know if that's going to happen.
You'll get that with the Wyatt 6. That's what you'll get.
The White sucks.
We'll see.
Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins just have unbelievable chemistry with each other in ring and outside the ring. That's just going to be fantastic. I need to know that Reed is going to go over, even though it is Seth Rollins, and I need to know how they're going to do it. And it's really killing me not knowing, but I love it at the same time. So I can't wait for that third match. That's why I keep saying I think Seth Rollins might do something at War Games, considering they only have 3 matches confirmed for that show. Seth Rollins is definitely off that show, but they need to do something to fuel that feud just a little more, leading to a third match, like a third final blow-off match. I would love to see like a Hell in a Cell like coming up soon between them, or something of that nature, something very brutal like that, where it's just like, or just even a cage match, you know what I mean? Something like that between them. Going on to the NXT side, Zarya, I mean, she's seemingly probably gonna win that Iron Survivor, right? Because they're just pushing her to the moon. Like, I just
why are you shaking your head?
It should be Stephanie, dude.
Exactly, it should be Stephanie.
She's better.
It's just
Zarya's nice, but Stephanie's just better, dude. There's no shit, or at least it's got to be Stephanie in my opinion.
Honestly, I thought it was gonna be Jada Parker, and then when Jada Parker lost to Stephanie, I was like, man. So like, obviously, we're gonna get a blow off match between Jada and Lola at some point. But like, I just feel like Stephanie Valkyrie in that match is just going to be so consumed with Julia eventually that they're going to have their own little story within that match, and it's just going to pave the way for Zarya. And at that point, Zarya is being built as Brock Lesnar. She's not losing to Roxy. So that's just to me, it's you know how I feel about big men. She's the
one to end the reign.
Come on. And this is what I'm saying.
She's not Cody Rhodes, bro. Come on, that's not.
I kind of wish they would have went the Oba Femi route with her. She's just getting pushed so quickly into this main event scene. I'm getting very worried. And you guys know how I feel about big wrestlers. I mean, she's about to fit that mold where I'm just like, I don't care, and it's just gonna be they're just pushing her solely because of her physique, and I'm not feeling it.
They should put her in the North American title picture.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I said the Oba Femi route. Like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling that. I'm not feeling that at all. But it is what it is. The women's United States Championship tournament match that we had with Chelsea Green. I'm gonna let you guys know right now. I don't care about any freaking match. If Chelsea Green does not win this championship, I'm going to riot. Like,
I think everybody wants her to win.
That's just what it is. She has to be the inaugural champion. I really don't know who it's gonna be. I do want to shine somebody in that match. Blair Davenport has just been such a disappointment, and it's not her fault. She was a draft pick from NXT this year, and it's just done nothing. I don't know what's going on there. She's a great talent. Her NXT matches are always stellar. I felt as though she should have at least advanced in this tournament, and she's just not. So that is it's just weird to me. And lastly, for SmackDown, before we get to the main event of SmackDown, Tommaso Ciampa, you guys are really slowly seeing what he can do as a singles competitor. This McMahon era really has written him off so quickly. You guys never got to see the black and gold heel Tommaso Ciampa, and you guys are going to get it. And just tune in, man, because the guy's awesome. But if nothing else, main event time, Bloodline. Ladies and gentlemen, the wise man has returned and announces CM Punk, Gonzo's GOAT.
That's right.
My second GOAT has returned and joined the OG Bloodline. Acknowledge him. What do you guys think of that? Are you guys happy? Would you rather have Seth Rollins? What do you guys think? Angel, go first.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I guess it's extremely surprising to me, I guess. Punk is such an enormous entity, and he's like the sun when it comes to wrestling. He's just so giant. And to add him to a story that's already a black hole that just devours everything around it, it's like, holy smokes. They are just going to shadow everything else in wrestling. It's so big to put this story with Punk now. Paul Heyman coming back, phenomenal. I couldn't wait. I've been asking for him to come back for so long now. Long overdue. Him bringing back Punk makes sense since the day. Did we see him and Cody walk in the ring together? Was that when me and you were at SmackDown or something?
We were at SmackDown.
When Punk had the bat? Do you remember
that was the last time. Well, not the last time, but yeah, that was at that show that was at SmackDown. It
was when Paul was still trying to run the new Bloodline. And
he was trying to protect himself from Solo and beg Punk for help because they were in Chicago. They had that Chicago show, exactly. And they were going to try to get played to that crowd. Right.
From that era, from that night, like this is connecting that night to now. And so it makes sense. It's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just an interesting pull. Paul Heyman, in that one interview he had a month ago, he said, "Oh, like when I come back, it's gonna be a story for a year's worth." He kind of teased. So we're looking at another year of Bloodline action, which is great, I guess. Awesome. It's the best story in the business. So, but yeah, it's just I'm kind of scared as far as just the enormity of this combination. It's gonna be crazy. So I guess they know what they're doing, though, right? They're putting all their eggs into this basket. And I guess Punk only has so long left in his body, right? So might as well get this over with now. We'll see how it goes, though. I don't know. It's awesome, but I'm scared. So that's how I'll take it.
All right. Gonzo?
Couldn't be better for wrestling.
That's all you got?
It's going to be a minute. So you have long-term storytelling at its finest to where CM Punk, for those of you who are unaware, had played a very pivotal role with even introducing the Shield over a decade ago. And so it was supposed to have been planned that the Shield was supposed to be the personal bodyguards to CM Punk when he was still champion and making his run. And of course, as we know, as history has gone on, the Shield became their own entity, right? And so Punk has direct ties to all three of the Shield members, two of which that are still in WWE. When CM Punk initially came back, he cut a promo and had identified Roman Reigns catching him on his decline, and as CM Punk was continuing to ascend, that they would cross paths. Fast forward almost a year later, and we've arrived at that very moment. In that same promo, CM Punk had said that he is the original Paul Heyman guy when comparing him to the Tribal Chief. So seeds were planted when Punk came back this time last year. You want to talk about years of in storytelling, pretty phenomenal. Another thing to consider as well is that when Punk, of course, was out with his injury, who else were you going to use aside from Brock Lesnar, right? A lot of people I know wanted to hear that music pop, him be the fifth person. But if you think about this, CM Punk is out during this time period where everyone else is going to assemble with Cody Rhodes to take down the Bloodline. The one that's missing, of course, because due to injury, is CM Punk. You have an opportunity now to insert Punk into this as he continues to go back and forth with not only the Wise Man, but now, of course, with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins. You have the ties to that now. You also have the disdain that CM Punk has towards the People's Champion at some point when he does return. How many different directions now can you go to give CM Punk his WrestleMania main event for night 2? Not for this WrestleMania, potentially for the next one, or even sometime after that. WWE is in a very good position as they continue to really build on long-term storytelling. And CM Punk, as we know, has very limited time left with whatever it is that his body can take. With WWE, they continue to use him more effectively and in more appropriate storylines, really wanting to be selective with, of course, his appearances and what types of bumps that he's going to take. So that is my very condensed version as to my hype around the usage now of CM Punk.
I like it. CM Punk in this spot was not something I really expected. I did see people, on the internet wrestling community, like basically saying it was probably going to happen. I really didn't think so. So him being in that match is really cool. It's a guy that is tied with Paul Heyman, has ties with Roman Reigns, as David said, at one point that their paths are going to cross. He is the OG, Paul Heyman guy in his eyes. So him being added to the match is going to be great. He doesn't have to do a lot. He'll probably sit in the cage for a while. So that's fine. What I do want to talk about, though, is the bloodline, the new bloodline, excuse me. So we got to really, so the new bloodline being so over now, looking so powerful, looking so good. It's almost hard to think that they're going to lose. But if this is the team that we're getting now, it makes it more believable as far as Roman trying to win. Now, is that going to be the case? I don't know. We'll get to our predictions very shortly. But Solo his character development right now has just been so good and looking like just an absolute star. It's hard for me to be like, okay, I want Roman Reigns to win. But there's like so much on the line now. If the bloodline wins, don't give me your predictions yet, please. Don't ruin the thing. But if the OG bloodline wins, excuse me, it's like, is this who gets the pin? Is Roman gonna pin Solo? Is that or vice versa? Who's going to be the tribal chief? Does this lead to a one-on-one finally? Is something else going to happen? The Rock, there's so many other things. But then there's this other aspect that people are overlooking, not you guys, but other people are overlooking because everyone's finally getting on the Solo Sikoa train, on giving him his flowers and his in-ring work and his promo work. The guy's funny. He really has great charisma. But then you keep teasing Jacob Fatu. and Roman, and every time they have an in-ring moment, it's interrupted. They never actually come to fighting to each other. Nothing really happens. It's only like, okay,
a couple
something
Superman
happens.
punches here and there, but that's it.
Yeah.
And
Like
some
it's
moonsaults.
always after the fact,
Yeah.
though. It's never like a,
Mhm.
okay, me and you are finally in
It's a
the
one
ring.
moment spot.
It's
a
one
one moment
It's
spot.
like
Yeah.
it gets ruined by, okay, he gets kicked in the head on the side and then he attacks him. He gets this opportunity.
Yeah.
And then you had the Bronson Reed aspect where he came out of nowhere, which that one I actually did not fucking see. That was just out of nowhere in my eyes. I was like, whoa, but it's just like, okay, Solo's on this high, but then now you feel as though Jacob's getting this prestige and he's not even doing anything but just dominating life. It's like, wait a minute. Like, is there going to be a thing where now they have some mutual respect? Are they going to go after each other? Are they finally going to fight each other at War Games with no one hitting somebody from behind? Who's the leader? Does this guy defect? Like, what's going on? And that's the thing that just intrigues me the most. Everyone with the whole bloodline story, it's just Jacob now. It's like, I finally got what I wanted. People are acknowledging Solo, not in the aspect that he's a tribal chief, but just acknowledging him of actually being a main event contender, a main event guy, and someone that could come out there and actually carry a show. But then you got this Jacob in the back, which is just so intriguing to me. That's what I want to see. But I'll leave my other prediction for when we make our predictions in just a second. But I just cannot give enough praise to the OG bloodline because they filled that void when Roman wasn't gone. I mean, wasn't gone. When Roman was gone, and you're finally seeing it come to a head. And that's just all I wanted to say as far as that. But before we get to our War Games predictions, is there anything else you guys want to say? Anything we might have overlooked?
I want to say one more thing.
Sure.
As awesome as this is, right? We all agree that it's awesome right now. Like, I gave my little bit. I'm like Debbie Downer right now, but I do have to say one more thing.
It's all good.
Is the biggest loser in all this Jey Uso?
So that's part of the thing I wanted to say later, but since you brought it up.
I'm sorry. Okay.
No. Since you brought it up. No, it's cool. Since you brought it up, he will be the biggest loser if the bloodline. Honestly, it's just like it's whether lose or bloodline. It's like, what does he do after? Because if he remains with his brother, I think that's a step down. As much as everyone loves the Usos and want them to reunite, it's a step down. But I'm trying to stay this without saying my predictions on what's going to happen. But win or lose, I feel like as though the OG bloodline are going to remain for a while, no matter what. And I think that's kind of detrimental to his character because now he still has to come doing this tag team work and faction work as opposed to being a guy that's actually created his own brand. The Yeet brand is strong. The Yeet brand sells shirts. The Yeet brand gets the crowd going. The Yeet brand is main event, and now he has to like sacrifice his own role and doing the bloodline work.
He hasn't spoken much, since he's rejoined.
Yeah.
He's been very, like he said, Yeet a few times. They got the Yeet on the OTC
on the
shirts
shirt
and stuff. That's cool. I like it. I like it, but I want him to have more involvement. I don't think they're giving him enough. The way you like Jacob for the new bloodline, that should be Jay for the OG bloodline. Like we should be talking about Jay the same way we're talking about Jacob, and we're not. And now with Punk entering the mix, the way Bronson entered was dope, but he's still just a soldier. Punk entering is like, dude, that's like, Iron Man and Captain America. You know what I mean? Like you got two alphas. Like where's Jay in that now? Like he's even lower in the rankings now of that team. And it's like, man, I kind of wish Jay had a few more moments before Punk showed up because I just felt like Jay's just not getting his due right now. I think he's gonna have his own line again once this story's done. And when I say done,
the thing is, how long is it going to be done?
Right. When I say done, I think it'll be. I'm going way far out here. I think it'll be done when Cody's reintroduced into this story, and then Jay has to choose sides because he is a Cody backer, and he'll either be completely out of it or he'll have to make a decision at that point. But that's when he'll really be on his own again. But I don't know. Gonzo, did you have an idea of? Or go ahead, Mark.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Gonzo, do you have anything you want to add to that?
on the short term, they're going to make as much money as they possibly can. How do you insert the sun, right? As Angel gave that metaphor to CM Punk, and tie him, of course, into The Rock, Roman Reigns, the Wise Man, and Seth Rollins. So therefore, that could, of course, lead into the coming months. We have limited opportunity to use Punk, arguably, right? He's getting older. His body can only take so much more. As far as, having Jimmy, right? Jay Uso.
Jay.
Having Jay, we know that he's ascending. He's selling shirts. He's outselling everybody when it comes to specifically his merchandise, right? In regards to CM Punk and a lot of other wrestlers as well. Is he going to be lower on that totem pole right now? Yeah. Entering the War Games, I think so. This was another way to elevate the Bloodline story with Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, right? For these guys right now that are heading into this next WrestleMania. For long-term storytelling, though, I think what needs to happen is that Jay needs to have a couple big spots in that match to make it feel like it stands out. I know I had sent everyone Rikishi jumping off, the cage in order to squish someone, but that's memorable, right? That's burned into my mind. I don't even know who wins that match. I just know Rikishi jumped off the cage and killed a human being. I don't know the outcome to that, but that's something that I need Jay to do in this match to really cement himself and not necessarily be forgotten, regardless if they win or lose. So therefore, he can have these moments to where the fans are not going to forget that. He has this significant high right now, but the story is starting to trump, right, his specific aura. So what can we do in this upcoming match to really make that aura stand out maybe once or twice, so therefore it's cemented there? So that way he can continue to build his presence, right? I mean, like Brock Lesnar, I wanted to hear Brock Lesnar's music, to be totally, truthful with everybody. I didn't get that. His aura by itself is what I wanted to experience as a fan. I wanted that level of excitement. I wanted him to rampage potentially with Bronson Reed, because Bronson Reed at this point has been going against other individuals that are 6'8", 400 pounds as well, and he's been dismantling people. So I figured that they would get like a super heavyweight to come in there. They didn't. However, as far as story goes, they went a different direction. So I don't necessarily think Jay is too crippled by this. I think that there are ways that, of course, story-wise and in-ring ability, he can still stand out. It's just how and when. And that's what I get really interested with. I'm not too worried about him because he continues to shine even with the limited opportunity that he's being given. Same like Solo. Solo is shining as well.
I don't think he'll be crippled by it. But however, I am worried. I'm worried because he had to give up his Intercontinental Championship. He was at honestly an all-time high as a singles competitor at that point in time, and having to revert back to a story that we've been talking about for 4 years. And it's just obviously we're living in the moment, and I don't like to think about post anything, but I can't help but think post bloodline involvement. What's he going to do? Is he going to stay realigned with his brother? And at this point, who has a brand between those brothers? Jey Uso. Does Jimmy Uso have his own brand that he could go off by himself? He has a badass theme song, but that's about it. You know what I mean? So it's hard because if you really want to think about it in a business standpoint, all right, we're fans here talking about the show, but let's think about the business side of things. Can I make money off Jey Uso? Yes. Can I make money off Roman Reigns? Fucking obviously. Can I make money off of Jimmy Uso? At this point in time, no. There was zero. He just disappeared, didn't do his own thing until it was time to go bloodline again, and then he reappeared, and now it's full bloodline. So it's like, if I'm at a business standpoint, the Usos together make me money, right? Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to have Jimmy Uso on the payroll, what is he going to do if he's not going to be with his brother? Now who's to say they can't think of something of that happening? Obviously, later down the road, they could have something for him. But creatively, right now, if we're in creative, what are we going to do? So it's like, okay, now that they're reunited and they love each other again, let's put the Usos back out there, help the tag team division, give a dream match, with the Motor City Machine Guns, give another match with DIY or, if they're a thing, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's hard for me to see Jey Uso, despite him being a moneymaker as a singles competitor, leaving Jimmy Uso in the dust without any type of creative direction. So that's just what's hard for me, and I don't want that to happen because I don't want to see the Usos reunite right now. You can reunite the Usos in a few years. I want to see Jimmy Uso right now as a singles competitor. Putting him in the mid-card division, whether it be U.S. or Intercontinental Championship, whatever show he decides to be on, post-draft or whatever, that's what I want to see because that's a guy in the mid-card that can drop you a promo. That's a guy in the mid-card that can drop you a great match. And if you keep him on Raw, because Raw's World Heavyweight Championship is so anyone can go for it as opposed to the Universal, he has an opportunity for that to legitimately be main event Jey Uso.
Yeah, he's got to stay on Raw. I agree.
You know what I mean?
He cannot go to SmackDown as a single.
So it's just very hard because I'm just worried about the aftermath, and it's not because I'm not worried because he can't succeed. It's just business standpoint. It's like, can Jimmy succeed? It's like all depends on Jimmy. What are we gonna do with Jimmy? You know what I mean?
I think they can figure out a way to keep Jimmy relevant. He might be stuck to Roman still for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That just might be the way he's going to stay relevant. And then he can have his own moment, you know. But right now is Jay's moment. Jimmy just got to chill for a little bit as, you know, he's the brother that got to chill for a minute. But Jimmy might have his own moment later. Jimmy's pretty charismatic too. People forget, like, he's actually the funnier brother of the two. He's always been, like, more charismatic than Jay. And Jay just blew up because, you know, he knows what he's doing too. He's a great talent. So, but Jimmy, I think Jimmy could be a solo talent too. He just needs that opportunity. But right now is Jay's moment. He's got to wait, let Jay have that moment. Then he can have his in a little bit once this whole thing, you know, goes over and stuff. That's my opinion on it. But yeah,
I agree.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. So, you know, it is Survivor Series War Games. That's next week, the PLE. So next week's show, assuming we all watch on time, because you know we have wives and lives. Assuming we all watch on time, next week's show will be a post show, and we will solely talk about War Games. But until then, we're gonna make our War Games predictions. But I'm gonna kind of throw a curveball at my co-host here that they didn't know. Because we weren't going to play a game today because we did start later than usual. But I'm going to give them a quick game, and it's just going to be for them and not me.
I wasn't prepared.
And you don't have to be because it's just me to you guys. And we're going to give them an OG game that we started way back when, Pushberry Fire. And your guys' Pushberry Fire combined is Braun Breaker. I Love You Solo. That's what we're calling him from now on. Jacob thought too. And another fan favorite, LA Knight. All three have never won a World Heavyweight Championship. So we're going to push Barry Fire, Braun Breaker, LA Knight, and I Love You Solo, a.k.a. Jacob Fatu.
Wow.
Angel, go ahead.
That is tough. I'm going to have to...
You're welcome, guys.
I'm gonna have to fire Jacob only because he has not. Yeah, I Love You Solo just hasn't. That doesn't mean he can't dominate and screw me over at another company. He probably is gonna do that. But
right.
to me, I'm pushing Braun Breaker because I think he could be a GOAT potential. His potential. Now, Jacob has crazy potential too. Okay, this is just a crazy hard decision. But Braun Breaker has GOAT potential in him. Like that guy's promos, that guy's ring. When he comes out, I don't know. He's still raw. Like people don't realize that. They think he's like this already sculpted. He's not, and he's already so good at it. It's like he's not even perfected it yet. The dude just got here, and I think he's gonna be an incredible superstar. So I'm gonna push Braun Breaker, Barry LA Knights, which is unfortunate because he's one of my favorite stars in the business, but Braun Breaker's just unbelievable to me, and I have to fire Mr. I Love You Solo, but he's awesome. So that's my answer, even though I don't like it.
Interesting. All right, Gonzo, Pushberry Fire, same question.
Well, I mean, even stalling for time as you allowed Angel to go first, I can't even
it's
really.
Hard.
Yeah, I mean that one really is hard. So I guess my firing is gonna have to be Jacob.
Oh, interesting.
I'm just going to get rid of Jacob. I mean, he lost a ton of weight. He looks phenomenal. He looks fantastic, except he doesn't talk. So because he doesn't talk, unfortunately, the other two, they've been given the ability to talk. Just on those grounds alone, I have to let him go because I already know what the other two can do on a mic, and I like people that can talk. Now, as far as who I am going to bury, right? It's going to be Braun Breaker, and then I'm going to push LA Knight to the moon.
Oh, he's a true fan. He did it. He buried Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker,
Wow.
super young. Obviously, he can talk, he can move, he can do all of these things. But unfortunately, LA Knight doesn't have time. And LA Knight has shown he's gone through trials and tribulations throughout his entire career. He can go in the ring. There's athleticism clearly still there. And his ability to talk on the mic, it's all the way up here for me. So I like people that can talk. And it just so happens that he can actually physically perform in the ring on top of that. So that's the guy that I'm going to be pushing.
Okay. All right. And now it's time for mine. For reasons Gonzo just said is the reason why LA Knight is getting fired. It took him 15 years to put over the gimmick that is over in WWE. He's used the same gimmick, LA Knight. Obviously, you guys don't watch the indies, but his name was Eli Drake, and he did that same gimmick in TNA. He did that same gimmick in NWA. He did that same gimmick in MLW, and it didn't work until now. And he's 40 plus years old. So, sorry, bud. Try to get it over again. I am going to bury Jacob Fatu because I do not want that man anywhere near another rival promotion because he is a superstar in the making. He has tremendous in-ring skill, and though you haven't seen him speak yet, the guy can drop it on the mic, so just stay tuned when he finally gets that opportunity.
No, he can speak. He just hasn't gotten the chances yet.
So I'm going to bury him until he's ready, and then he'll dominate on my show. And then, of course, I am pushing the new age Braun Breaker because that guy is a superstar already and will carry the Raw brand, and he better be the Raw brand on Netflix in January. Hope you guys liked that little curveball I gave you. That was hard.
You're just biased because you have his Gem PSA card.
No, seriously, Gonzo, think about this. You have these once in a generation talents, the Stone Cold Steve Austins, the Hulk Hogans, the John Cenas, the CM Punks. Who of that group is that guy? Isn't not Braun Breaker potentially that guy?
100%.
Of those three?
That's why he's getting buried for right now. Triple H got buried and he did just fine.
All right. I'm just giving you my argument. I feel like Braun Breaker's that guy.
Easy there.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but he seems like he's got that stuff. That's all.
Again, if you have that stuff, you are going to find a way to separate yourself from everybody else. Yeah. The cream of the crop, if I had to quote a legend from WWE, right? I'm just saying, if you have the stuff and you can get it over and you can figure it out, LA Knight finally did it. It took him all these years to do it, but you know what?
15.
He finally got it, though. He was able to separate himself to a point where it happened. He doesn't need to get it over anymore. It's there, right? And so life is all about timing, too. But if you have that talent, this is where I think AEW for rivaling and coming into the fruition, because it's opened more doors for people to get on television, to be seen and to be heard. And it has to change the way that other people do business. Hence the reason why WWE is doing all these things like they have been these last several years. And with Vince out of the picture, it's made other opportunities now for people to come into the light and actually shine. We have wrestlers that can barely speak English on WWE programming getting pushes of variety of kind now, coming from different countries. That NXT was something, right? How many times in the past have we just been very upset and frustrated because that wrestler was able to do everything you could possibly imagine, except they had broken English, right? Or for whatever the reason, they weren't, born in America or whatever the case may be. That, that frustrated me. That's not the case here in these last several years. And I love all of it. I really do. You have much more international talent that is now being given opportunity where that necessarily hasn't been the case for the last 20 years, Mark, would you say?
Yeah, I could agree with that.
No, I mean, Damage Control, Stephanie Vaquer, Shinsuke. I mean, all those talents are big deals,
Yeah. All right, so we're about to go to our main event of the show. So here we go. Let me just pull it up. All right, so Survivor Series War Games. Once again, next week. Make sure you guys tune in next week for our Survivor Series War Games post-reaction show. Real quick before we get to the only 3 matches that are on the card, there are a couple rumored matches. One rumored match is Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens for the Undisputed Universal Championship. Excuse me. Sorry. And then the other match is Braun. I'm sorry?
Whatever the hell it's called now. I don't even know the name of that damn thing
It's
anymore.
Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship.
Cody's title. That's all you need to call it as.
And another rumored match is Braun Breaker versus Sheamus again for the IC Championship because it was interrupted by Ludwig Kaiser. Do you guys want to see those matches on the card, or would you rather see something else?
I would rather have more women's matches.
It's true, but nothing else is being right now. It's just everything's in shambles for the women's. As far as women's tag team division, I would say put the tag team titles online, but now it looks like they're going to have to relinquish that belt. So
maybe like a triple threat for the Intercontinental title. Yeah,
you just throw Ludwig in there though.
Screw it, why not? Yeah, it'd be more interesting.
I think Cody versus Kevin has a real shot. We didn't really discuss it, but they had another thing on Friday between them, so that feud is really hot and heavy. I really appreciate that Cody Rhodes is not defending a championship against a Bloodline member. So having Kevin Owens be a filler is pretty cool. I really enjoy that Kevin Owens' heel work right now. He reminds me a lot of AEW's Eddie Kingston. I feel like they're both very similar. They both want to fight. They both are, hardcore, doesn't matter. And that's a character that I've always appreciated. That's why I love Eddie Kingston so much in AEW.
A lot of charisma.
So a lot of charisma. So Kevin Owens is a younger Eddie Kingston, and I love to see it. So that's really cool. Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. I just don't like Sheamus, so no, I don't want to see it. So I don't care. Women's matches, I'm 100% in agreement for that. But here we go. Let's actually make our predictions. So the men's War Games match, we'll leave that for last. So we have the World Heavyweight Championship match. Gunther defending against Damian Priest. Gonzo, who wins?
Gunther versus Damian Priest. It's got to be Gunther. He's going to find his fighting spirit again. His confidence is going to come back. But he probably, will still question it.
Okay. Angel, Damian Priest's rematch. Who wins?
It's Gunther. I'm sure we'll see Mr. Finn come out and screw over Damian.
It's going to be like watching a main event on Raw. That's all it's going to be.
100% in agreement of what Angel just said. I think Damian Priest is going to expose Gunther in the ring, meaning play into that role of, oh shit, Gunther has met his match. Gunther's like second guessing himself, and Damian's about to win, and then we reignite the Finn versus Damian issue. So there's that. Gunther retains. All right, we got the women's War Games match: Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Jade Cargill's replacement Bayley versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Angel, who wins?
Don't sound excited.
I love the women's division in WWE, but I don't know why I'm not that excited for this. I think it's because it's kind of slapped together.
I was about to say, I'll tell you why you're not excited, because they just made this match 6 days ago.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, the talent is amazing. I love Io Sky. I love Liv Morgan. I love Tiffany Stratton. I love Bianca and Rhea. They're all amazing. But I just don't care that much about this matchup. I guess it's cool to see them fight each other. I guess Liv Morgan, Raquel, Nia, Tiffany, and Candice.
So the heel team. We'll call them the heel team.
The heels would be interesting to see work together to get a win out of this, because they're so strong as far as personalities. And the face side, it's kind of just a modge podge of just superstars of faces. So I'd be more interesting if my girl Jade was there, but she's not. So Bailey's cool, but I like Jade better. That's it.
Gonzo, who wins?
Tell me the
heels.
Tell me.
Okay, I'll tell you again. Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Io Sky, and Bayley versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. Jesus.
Man, we're gonna go with the heels.
Yeah.
That's right, Queen Nia. I got to go with Queen Nia and Tiffy Time.
Oh,
and
now
all
you're
the
not Nia
ladies.
girl. Now you're Nia backer.
Oh,
3 years after she won the title. Now
snap.
you're Nia backer. Here
Just
we go.
remember who always
I
supported
thought it
her
was Tiffy
first.
time, bro. I thought you were Tiffy time.
She's
So now
being
you're not?
abused
Okay.
right now. She's being abused.
So now you're not a Tiffy guy no more. Okay. All right.
All right.
Call you
Okay.
out.
All right. For me, we're gonna go with faces. Bailey will
wow.
get the win, and for the team, and she will pin Nia Jax.
What?
And also, we'll
Bailey?
have Tiffany Stratton teasing once again a cash in, as per usual.
Can you imagine if you cashed in this match and everyone's going for the title?
Honestly,
10
that would make
people?
that would make me so much more
That
like
would be
interested.
crazy.
Like all
Hell
of a sudden,
yeah.
just make it a
They should
fucking
do that.
10-way War Games
Yeah.
match. Like,
Has it ever happened before? I know they almost did it last
never.
year.
No
Didn't they bring out
one
the
ever.
briefcase last year?
That's some great booking right there, because I could care less for this War Games match. It hasn't been built, so. I mean, Nia Jax's promo on Raw, dude, like, oh, I'm not thinking about you, like, but
Yeah.
Bailey, or like, that was so terrible. But whatever,
Yeah.
that's David's girl. So, all right,
Saquon Barkley just ran for a 72-yard touchdown.
that's great. This is a wrestling show.
So
the men's War Games match. The men's War Games match. We got the OG Bloodline: Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and CM Punk, obviously with the Wise Man in their corner, versus the new Bloodline: Solo, Sikoa, Tangaloa, Jacob Fatu, I love you, Solo, and
I love
Bronson Reed. Gonzo, who wins the wrestling match that we're talking on this wrestling podcast?
I would rather have the insights of Pro Wrestling Kingpin give me his his picks right now.
You want me to go first?
Yes, please.
Oh, interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I was gonna go last, but
You always go last.
You Kingpin.
Here we go. Oh, I love it. I love it. There you go. Now you're gonna get my answers. Okay. So, just real quick before I make remind me. I believe Solo Sikoa pinned Roman before.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay. So I kept going back and forth with this. I kept saying that the Bloodline was going to win, and the OG Bloodline was going to win. I really could not make a decision. But I think for storyline purposes, the OG Bloodline will win with Roman Reigns pinning Solo to set up finally a 1v1 for the tribal chief, I guess, title, moniker.
The tribal wars.
Whatever you want to call it. However, that is not the story of this match. The story of this match is the Wise Man, because the Wise Man is going to turn on Roman Reigns and side with Solo Sikoa as his new tribal chief. The guy has been gone for X amount of time.
There's no way.
He's wearing the exact same attire that Solo Sikoa was wearing. And he was tanned as fuck. All right.
The OG Bloodline wears the exact same colors. He was wearing the OG Bloodline
No. I'm not talking about color scheme.
His little handkerchief.
He wore the exact same suit. The color, the red shirt, the thing in the pocket. That is all.
So why bring in Punk? You could have just brought in anybody for the 5th. That means he's turning on Punk too.
That's correct. That's more of a. Hey Roman, I got your back, man. This is who I got for you. You know, I called in one of my last favors. So the story here is not OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline for the ownership of the Bloodline name. While that will be decided later, Paul Heyman will have his new Paul Heyman guy, and that is Solo Sikoa. So, just to reiterate my my prediction, the OG Bloodline will win, even though Paul Heyman turns on him mid-match in a failed attempt for the new Bloodline to win, because we need to set up this. They each got a pin on each other, all right? So they're going to have a pin on each other, and they have to decide who's going to be the real tribal chief. So the OG Bloodline will win this match because it's a star-studded, you know, with CM Punk there, and they're going to overcome whatever. But the big story here is the ultimate heel turn, the best Paul Heyman we know, the only Paul Heyman we know, and that is heel Paul Heyman. That is my prediction. Whoever wants to go next, go right ahead.
I'll go next. That would be an awesome story, I will say, if Paul was to do that.
That's why in the
But I can't believe you're just going off of an attire and then you're buying into that.
It's there, man. Where's he been?
I guess
where's he been?
The
tanning. He's been tanning.
Clearly,
he's been tanning.
The guy spent way too much time in LA tan, bro.
No, he's been on vacation, bro. You have a point when you say that the best Paul Heyman's the heel Paul Heyman. That is intriguing. I will say the attire, I don't know, I cool, I guess, but I definitely think the heel part you have a stronger argument. But if you can believe in that, I mean, Cody Rhodes could become a heel then. Like you're looking at the same percentage as far as
it's different. It's different. Paul Heyman is not out here. Paul Heyman's not out here carrying the number one belt in the company. Paul Heyman's not out here doing Make-A-Wishes. Okay. Paul Heyman's not out here going on fucking Good Morning America. No, it's not. That's Cody Rhodes. You need a guy like that. That's why John Cena couldn't turn heel, because he was that guy. He couldn't do it.
No, I know, but I'm just saying it's possible.
No.
Anyway,
it's like a point.
I can't see
like
Paul turning on Punk specifically. That makes it extremely difficult. If there was a different fifth member, you'd have even a stronger case. But the fifth member makes it extremely difficult for me to see that.
Why? They're not together. What's it matter? He had Brock Lesnar when CM Punk was around. What's it matter? What's it matter?
Them putting them through the table, like you're telling me they put them through the table, and then they became homies after that.
That was his baptism. That was his baptism.
No problem. I'll one up you with a question.
Reborn.
I'll one up you with a question. No. He's got a great point. And I'm not. But I'll one up you with a question. Let's go to NXT for a second. All right. You had Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade win the tag team championships. And Cora Jade turned on her 30 seconds later, not down the road, 30 seconds later after they won. Oh my God, we're the tag team champions. Yeah, fuck you. And she threw the tag team championships in an actual garbage can after she beat the fuck out of her. So yes, you do have a point. I sent you through a table. That's 100% right, and I agree with you, and I'm not debunking that. But anything could happen when you literally win a championship and you get turned right after you won a championship. Come on, guy.
What's the motivation for Paul Heyman to turn?
The motivation is when Roman Reigns was gone, he lost to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, right?
His life was living hell.
Where was his boy that he was saving? Where was he? Where was Roman Reigns to help Paul Heyman? He's there crying for Paul Heyman. He hasn't been returning his calls. Even Solo lying about, oh yeah, I've been talking to the tribal chief. He wasn't picking up your calls. Like, where, you know what I mean? Like, obviously that was a lie, but like, he wasn't picking up his calls. He needed him. Where was he? You know who was there? Solo Sikoa.
Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go with the faces or the OG bloodline winning this match. I have Seth Rollins coming out, interfering, messing with Mr. Bronson, getting the dub for the good guys. Pretty simple, straightforward. There could be some other stuff happening, some other people involved, but I really just only see Seth really being the major one. And I hope Jay gets the pin. Maybe that's a little bit out there, but I'd like to see Jay get the pin.
Doesn't do anything to further the story. Yeah, but
it doesn't.
It is wishful thinking, though. One thing I wanted to add before Gonzo left, Gonzo made a fantastic point. Bronson Reed is solely in there to do a Rikishi spot. He's definitely 100% doing a tsunami on top of the cage.
And who's he killing? Who's he going to kill? Sami Zayn?
It's got to be someone that can take the bump, dude.
Sami Zayn. He's expendable.
It's going to be Sammy because he can die.
Yeah,
no one will care.
Sammy.
Name me another person that's going to accept that as punishment.
Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy.
Maybe Jimmy.
Right
because
now.
They don't know
Jimmy
what they're doing. Jimmy.
2.
Yeah, so Jimmy or Sammy's taking that bump.
Good Lord.
For sure. Punk ain't taking that one. He took too many bumps.
But I did not even think about this until Gonzo sent this to our group chat. He's 100%. Now I'm like, okay, why is Bronson Reed in this match? Like, there's no reason. Seth wasn't confirmed in the match. You thought maybe we're going to bring Seth, but Seth's still not in the match. What's he in that match for? We need a spot, and that's the spot. It's going to be a Rikishi spot. 100%.
He's gonna kill somebody. Like, I love Bronson Reed.
I love that Bronson's in this match. I don't know. I thought it was awesome.
No,
He
it is
totally-
awesome. I'm not saying
He
that he
fits
shouldn't be in the
perfectly
match.
with them.
It's just like
he is
it's
him
just
and
like how
Jacob together.
storyline wise, you know.
That's
Again,
unbeatable, dude.
Bronson Reed has presence, right? This is what I just keep coming back to when I said this earlier.
Mhm.
It's just the aura and the presence alone where I want to see someone get tsunami'd and get, again, boom. I want to see that. So that's why I said I wanted to hear Brock Lesnar's music just because of the aura and the presence and the pop that possibly could have created. Now, as far as my pick, oh gosh, I'm going to have the new Bloodline go over. As far as Seth coming out, I figure that he will have some type of role in this match of some type of capacity. And potentially it's going to create a disadvantage instead of an advantage. And so for whatever the reason, even with the assembly of CM Punk and everything else, the way that Bronson Reed has been built, Jacob Fatu, like those dudes, because you have them, that in itself has more firepower, I will argue, than what the OG Bloodline has. They have Roman and they have Punk. However, they don't have like that big, thick, towering individual that can just be a presence, right? And so in some way, a Paul Heyman heel turn, double heel turn, triple heel turn, and possibly again leaving the OG Bloodline to pursue greater and better things. Do we see The Rock emerge at the end of this show? Why not? Because Red One is done. It's been received very well by the masses, and I don't think he has any other movie plans coming up here for quite some time. Maybe we see again the Great One emerge from the back curtain again. That could be something also to
go like this and then walk away again.
Hey,
what's he gonna do?
It creates pop and interest, right?
1, 2, 3. We come out with his badass entrance and walk out like he always does.
There it is. All right. Well, that's our predictions. Before we close out the show, any final thoughts from anybody? Angel?
I will say the storyline will be, even though I predicted the faces to the OGs to win, I do think the story would be better if the new Bloodline were to win, to be honest with you. Like, I am cheering for the new Bloodline to win because I think the story would be a lot better if they win, in my opinion. I get what you're saying about the Roman to pin and move the story, but I want the...
You guys know my pick, and you know what? I think I'm changing it. I think New Bloodline wins because of the heel turn.
Yeah,
you could still book Roman versus Solo for the Tribal Chief moniker somewhere down the line. But yeah, because of the heel turn, I'm changing my pick. Because of the heel turn, my official pick is New Bloodline win because of Paul Heyman specifically.
Yeah.
Gonzo, any final thoughts?
I said things that persuaded you to go a different direction. I don't believe it.
It wasn't because of you. It's because I thought about my heel
No,
turn.
it's because of me. I'll have my head just go larger and larger now.
Nah, but go on. Do you have any final thoughts?
Nope.
I do. Before we close out this show, Jade Cargill. All right, we have kind of like a Stone Cold situation of who attacked, type deal, like who hit you with the car type deal. You know what I mean? I did say Charlotte Flair. That's one of them. The other person that I'm thinking they could play it back when she's ready, I think it's Bianca Belair.
She was in the ring.
Bianca, she could have sent somebody there, just like Triple H sent Rikishi. That's why I said Stone Cold situation.
Why would Bianca compromise her triple threat match for that to run away?
Why not?
Because she has a chance at the women's title. She's gonna compromise that for somebody she just threw through a car.
You got to sell the story, right? You got to sell the story, right? I came to save you. Oh my god.
That's detrimental to her own goals, though. If she's trying to become, the women's champion.
The women's U.S. champion. Does she really want to care? Or would you rather, if you're given an opportunity to be a U.S. champion or the world champion, what do you want to be?
You have a point. Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to debunk any type of mid-card belts because I love the mid-card belts and I always want it. But like Bianca wants to be the person, right? So
Bianca's a main carder. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, your motivation there is, it'd be cool to be the first ever United States championship. But like at the end of the day, I'm gonna be known for how many times am I the world champion? How many times was I carrying the show? And now I'm being held back in tag team division because I got Jade Cargill to fucking carry.
Right. I mean, we've always said that they might have a match against each other at WrestleMania or something anyway. So
You got to do it somehow, right? Someone's got to turn on somebody.
or Royal
I'm just
Rumble
saying.
or something.
Someone has to
Yeah,
turn
it's
on
possible.
somebody. So, but like I said, I could be wrong. I think it's either a returning Charlotte Flair, heel Flair is always better, or Bianca. That's my final thought. But all right, guys. Once again, Survivor Series War Games next weekend. Make sure you guys tune into our poll show, speak our reactions, and Angel will apologize for me for not being the kingpin when Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns.
I love you, Kingpin.
Thank you. But yeah, so before we get out of here, Angel, why don't you tell everybody what you got going on and where we can find you?
You can find me on all social medias at A_OK gaming, A_OK gaming, and streaming live on Twitch and Kick. If you want to see me gaming on PS5 or anything else, all social medias.
And you could come see his game in about 10 minutes. Yeah, we'll start yelling. We'll start yelling about 2K.
We'll see if anybody's on. Yeah.
Gonzo, why don't you tell message them right now? Gonzo, why don't you tell everybody what you got going on and where we can find your beautiful face?
Oh Lord, yeah, no, beautiful face, definitely on YouTube, also Instagram, as far as TikTok as well. As the name that I use there is the Raising_Personalities. X, it is just David_MA_LCPC, and I do a lot of streaming from time to time, playing Master Duel. Probably I'll start streaming another game here soon, but I was looking at the amount of hours that I put into Master Duel, and it's like north of 150 hours. Didn't realize that I've played that game for as long as I have. So some other things, as far as non-wrestling related, for those of you who, again, just to listen to us, just wanted to say thank you. And when I'm not, of course, doing the show with, Mark and Angel, A_OK and Kingpin, I am a licensed therapist here in the state of Illinois that does help people with their behavioral health and also addiction complications. And so if there are any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out on any of the platforms, and I'll make sure to, to answer them to the best of my abilities.
All right. Yeah. If we really don't forget to DM Gonzo for any of that, guys. He's really good to talk to, but he's ugly, not pretty. If you guys know who I am, Pro Wrestling Kingpin, host of the SmackTalk Wrestling Podcast, you can find me on all social media right there, Pro_Wrestling_Kingpin. Make sure you follow, talk to me, DM, let's talk wrestling. But yeah, all social media, and you can find us next week once again, immediately after the PLE. All right. So once the PLE is over, so it's not going to be 9 o'clock. You know how that works. So join us for our post show. Or if you want the elders that are out there that love our show, I got this Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for sale. Hit me up. You can have it. It's a gem mint. It's the only one, population one out there. Hit me up. Other than that, we'll see you next week. Love you, Solo.
Love you, Kingpin.